Hello YouTube, welcome to Balkan Shed and thank you for watching. It's greatly appreciated as always. What we have here is the Pioneer Arms Underfolder. Make sure it's clear. I did a video on this weapon about a year ago. I think it was February of 2023. I did the initial observation, my opinion on it, then I took it to the range and shot it. And now it's been a year and I have fired a little bit over 2,000 rounds through it, more like closer to 2,200. And I just want to give my impressions on it and what I observed over this past year or so, and how did it perform. So I always forget to cover stuff when I do the video, so actually this time I made me a list, so it should help out. Like I said, I fired a little bit over 2,000 rounds, closer to 2,200. I can't tell you exactly, but it was close to 2,200, maybe a little bit more. With this weapon, I had one jam. If you watched that first segment of this video, that's actually one jam that I had with it. That was when I took to the range a couple of days ago. My intention was to film me firing that last magazine that I have. Well, when I went to fire it, I fired one round and then it wouldn't fire anymore. What actually happened, the spent casing got stuck in a chamber. It didn't get kicked out, and I can't really blame the weapon for that, because once I cleared the jam on that weapon, I had to kick the spent cartridge out. That push it with the cleaning rod. I actually had to kind of hammer it out. The back of the casing was broken off, so when it grabbed it, it broke the back of the casing, so it didn't have nowhere to grab. So I would contribute that more to soft material in the casing than actually a weapon. After I cleared that, I fired the rest of that magazine there at the range and didn't have any more issues. So it was only 20 some rounds that I fired after, but so I can't say that I'm not going to have any more same issues, but the rounds that I fired right after it, I didn't have same problems. So like I said, I would contribute that more to soft casing than actually weapon. The next thing that I observed, it is kind of picky about magazines. It does not like most of the metal magazines. It does like majority of the polymer magazines. So if you're using this weapon, I would advise stick to the magazines that comes with, which is those polymer Polish magazines, or PMags. It likes PMags as well. One of the Pioneer magazines that I did have issues with. The weapon came with 3 magazines. One of them, once you load 20 rounds and start to load more than 20, it starts getting gritty, like there's a limiter on it almost. I took it apart, cleaned it, it was still doing the same thing. I don't know why. I didn't really mess with it too much. I'll figure it out, see if there's an issue with the spring. But that's the only issue that I've seen with that one magazine. Another thing that I noticed, you probably can't see it in video. When I bought this weapon, I did buy it as blam because there wasn't, to their specification, the finish wasn't on it to their specification, so there were some issues with the finish. That's why they sold them as blam, and that's why they were fairly cheap when I bought it. And after I fired all these rounds, some parts like barrel, gas port up here, sights, it changed color. It got really light. I know my Hugo does that too, but once you clean it, kind of goes back to the color it was. This one kind of kept that lighter color. Next thing, a few rust spots on the back of the receiver. I did have a few rust spots that developed over the last year. It cleaned up really easy. It wasn't really nothing concerning. The stock got a little bit looser, which these underfolders, they kind of loose up over time. That's the loosening it has. I mean, nothing too bad, but you don't want it too stiff, but you don't want it too loose neither. So it did get a little bit loose, but it did get opened up quite a few times over the last year or so. I used it as my truck gun for a little bit as well. The next thing that I noticed about it is the trigger pin that holds the trigger. It has tendency to come out. So this part right here, the pin, it comes out from this side. It never came out completely, where it actually fell out all the way, but it'll come out maybe 1/16 of an inch to the point where you notice it and you have to push it in. And that started probably after I fired maybe 1,500 rounds. Before that, I didn't notice that. So I don't know if it's gonna get worse over time or not, but that's one thing I noticed. Besides that, all the rivets, they in the spots where they should be, nothing came out, nothing got loose, there's no cracks. This is cast Pioneer Arms Underfolder. A lot of people don't like cast ones. I mean, it's not my preference neither, but it was fairly cheap and I picked it up just because it was a good deal. And it's an underfolder. I like the way underfolders look. I'm not going to tell you how much I paid. If you look my prior video, you can see I mentioned in there how much I paid. I had some videos get flagged when you mention a number and dollars associated with the weapon. They kind of flag it like you're trying to sell the firearm. For YouTube, this weapon's not for sale. I'm not trying to sell it. Anything associated with the price, I'm just mentioning what the price is, but I'm not even going to mention the price because I don't want to get flagged. But it was more than half of the price what the current Zastava AK underfolder goes, so it was a really good deal. So like I mentioned, it's a cast. There's no cracks, nothing broken on it. 2,000 rounds, 2,000 plus rounds, I'm happy with it. In reality, majority of people that buy these weapons, they're never gonna fire 2,000 rounds through it. I mean, I know many gun owners that have AK type of weapons or AR type of weapons. They'll fire few rounds, maybe 50, 100 rounds when they buy the weapon, and then they put it up and sits for next 10 years. And when they buy a weapon, they'll buy 2 magazines with it and maybe 60 to 100 rounds of ammo. So in reality, majority of people will never fire 2,000 rounds through their weapon anyway. Is it a good buy for the price? I think it is for what I paid for it, and so far I think it was worth the money. So that's just my impressions and my opinion of this Polish underfolder. I'm gonna keep shooting it. If I notice any other issues with it, I'll do another update video. Hopefully there's not gonna be any issues with it. I know they had problems with them in the past. The batches they imported in the past had a lot of issues, especially with the cast ones. I think majority of the ones they sell in now, they advertise them as forged. So those should be better quality, and they're not that much more than what these were on sale. They're still some of the cheapest underfolders, and they have them in different calibers. So, well, that's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.